What's up guys, this is Al. In today's episode we are going to be talking about microclimates. Do you have tropical plants, sensitive plants, or any other plants and you keep killing them? You bought magical juices and they're not helping at all. Is there anything else that you can do in order to actually improve your chances of being successful growing plants? And yes, there is, and that is microclimates. In today's episode, I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about microclimates. I'm going to be telling you what they are, how they're made, and everything else about microclimates. All right, let's go ahead and get started with what is a microclimate. A microclimate is any area. It could be as small as this little area right here or as big as your entire city, where the temperature differs from the surrounding environment. What do I mean by that? Well, the area in here, it's cooler than if you go out there in the open sky. This right here, this microclimate, it's cooler than being out there. That microclimate over there is hotter than being over here. And not only cooler here in the summer, but guess what? Because of the canopies of the trees in the wintertime, this area right here is about 5 degrees warmer than out there in the open sky. Simply because the canopies of these trees right here retain the heat being radiated out into the sky. So it takes longer for the heat to dissipate in this area than out there in the open, making this area, making this microclimate right here warmer in the winter. So why is that important to understand? Why do we need microclimates, especially when growing plants that are not native to your area, like this mango trees right here? Mango trees in my area are cold sensitive. What that means is you need to change the ambient temperature around the tree in order to protect it in the winter time forever. Not just one winter, not 2 winters. It doesn't matter how big the tree is, you need to protect it forever. So how can you use microclimates in order to help you grow your mango tree successfully? Well, there are 2 types of microclimates out there. You're gonna have man-made microclimates, like this shade structure right here. And then you're gonna have natural-made microclimates, like like about 3-mile radius here in my house. The temperature in my neighborhood, about 3-mile radius, it's cooler in the winter than anywhere else farther away. Simply because the microclimate in my city, it's actually colder because the elevation, it's lower. So in the winter time, a lot of the cold air pulls in this general area, making my area cooler than somebody else on higher elevations. So that is my city. But remember, I also have this tiny little microclimate over here underneath my pine trees that actually keep the temperatures warmer in the winter time. So let's talk about the man-made microclimates. So this structure right here, this right here is my mango tree. This structure becomes like a greenhouse in the winter time, and I put a heater in there to make the area warmer so my tree doesn't take damage in the winter time. This microclimate right here is man-made because I built it. This is something that you can build for your trees, or you can use a greenhouse or anything else to keep your trees warm. Those are man-made microclimates. And if you only have a few trees, this is going to be the easiest way and the most reliable way to actually take care of your plants so they do not die in the winter time. This right here, it's another man-made structure. This is a shade structure. This is for plants that require a little bit of shade in the summer so they don't burn and look ugly. So this microclimate over here is man-made and it's very easy to build. All you need is a shade structure for the summer months. Now let's go ahead and talk about natural microclimates. How can you actually identify a natural microclimate? Well, in this case, you use a little bit of common sense. Areas that are around trees and walls, you know they're gonna be good areas for wind block. So when it gets windy, if you have wind-sensitive plants, you will use this natural microclimate to plant anything that is wind-sensitive, things that you don't want to get damaged by the wind. But this area right here is also shaded. So any plants that are sunlight sensitive, you can plant them in here using natural microclimates. And this is how you can grow plants that are not native to your area, plants that have a specific growing requirements. You can use the microclimates around your house, around your property, to make it easier for you to be successful, like this little area right here. So when talking about microclimates, you're going to have two classifications. You're going to have cool microclimates and you're going to have hot microclimates. So in order to understand which one you need to understand what type of requirements your plant needs. Does it need a warm environment in the winter, or does it need a cool environment in the summer? So you are new to gardening and you're wondering, how can you identify microclimates in your area? I know for me it's very easy to identify simply because I can look at an area if it's going to be warm in the winter time or cool in the summer, or is it going to have good wind block or not. That's very easy for me to do, but for somebody new to gardening it's not going to be. So what can you do to help identify microclimates, whether they are man-made or natural made? And that brings us to today's sponsor, Same Logic. Are you looking for a weather station? Something reliable, something affordable, something that can measure the temperatures outside, it can measure the temperatures indoors, it can also give you the wind speed, the rainfall, it can give you all kinds of stuff that you probably don't even need. But the most important thing that you actually need, especially when identifying microclimates, is a thermometer, a thermostat. So this right here, it's a weather station. This weather station comes with a screen. This screen right here is the main station. On this screen, you can see the temperature indoors, which is around this screen. Most people are gonna have it indoors. I have it outside. And then you're also gonna see the temperature right where the weather station is located. You can also see the dates, the times. It will tell you if the average temperatures for the day, the wind speed. It will tell you everything. And the one thing that I like about this weather station, it has an alarm option. Meaning you can set the alarm. So if it's gonna get too cold, if it's gonna be too hot, it will actually give you an alarm so you know. For trees like this, especially during the winter time, if the temperatures are gonna get too cold, it's time for you to turn your heater on. Also, if you have a heater for let's say this mango tree right here, and that heater happens to fail in the middle of the night, all it takes is one night for you to lose everything here. This tree right here is almost 6 years old, but this weather station has an alarm, so I can set the alarm to notify me indoors if my heater fails, so that way I can get out of bed in the middle of the night and come over here and fix the issue. Because like I said, all it takes is one night for you to lose everything. So having a weather station like the Same Logic is going to be one of the best investments you can do when growing plants that are not native to your area. So using a weather station is going to be one of the easiest ways to identify microclimates in your area. Now let me go ahead and answer one of the main misconceptions about microclimates. So I have this Same Logic weather station right here on a portable stand so that I can move it around so that I can know the temperatures in a specific area over time. The good thing about this right here is it will give me the highs and lows for the day, so that way I can track the temperatures, because you have to understand one thing about natural microclimates, and that is they are not consistent. A lot of people who get into growing tropical plants or plants that are not native to your area, they assume just because you have a microclimate, your plant is going to do amazingly forever and you're not going to have to do anything else. As you can see, this area right here, it's a good microclimate for plants that are sensitive, either to the sun, to the cold, or to the wind. But you have to understand, every single year the temperatures are going to go up and down. It just depends on the year, and just because your plant makes it 1 year in this type of microclimate, it doesn't mean it will make it forever. Let me give you an example. You see this hatcher mango right here? You see I have a structure around it? Well, I can tell you for the first couple of years it was in the ground. This tree was a lot bigger than this, and I did not need a structure here in the winter time to protect it from the cold, because the microclimate in this area was warm enough to protect this tree. But then one winter we dropped down to 19 degrees. It was 19 degrees all night long. That was too cold. That was just out of the blue. It doesn't happen every single winter. But at 19 degrees, no amount of microclimate is going to save your plant. At that point, you are going to need a reliable, consistent, man-made microclimate, like this structure right here. So now I don't take any chances in the winter time. I always cover this tree, and when I know it's gonna be really cold, I put a heater in there, regardless of the natural microclimates. The weather is changing every single year, so we cannot rely on it to be consistent like we used to back in the day. The temperatures go up, they go down, it's too windy, too cold, weather manipulation going on, we just don't know what's going on. So the only thing that we can do is actually change the temperatures artificially by ourselves, like building shade structures or cold structures. So that's one of the main mistakes people make when choosing microclimates. They assume because the tree is next to a wall, next to a house, that it's warm, it's going to be warm enough for that tree to survive in the wintertime. And you're not gonna know unless you actually measure the temperatures. And that's why I highly recommend you to get a weather station. Whether you get the same logic over here or you get any other one, you need to record the temperatures. And remember, the temperatures are gonna be different every single winter. Sometimes they're gonna be lower, sometimes they're gonna be higher, but just remember, just because you measure the temperatures one winter, it doesn't mean those temperatures are gonna be consistent forever. They go up and down, and when you get complacent, that is when your plants are going to die. Everything you needed to know about microclimates, the realities, and what's actually going to help you or not help you. As always, if you have any questions, comment below. If you haven't liked the video, what are you waiting for? And I will see you next time.